Hey folks, welcome. That's Beth over there. I'm Gary. That's all you
Hello.
get. Oh my, look at that. It's like a dentist chair. Whoop, stop. It's like a dentist chair here.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. No, no. Don't
no,
want to go to
not
the
that.
dentist. No dentist. No dentist.
Fire up the drill sound effect. Dick. Wait a minute, stop, will you? Jeez.
It doesn't want to stop playing.
All right, I got it.
Like
So
the
just us
tune.
tonight. Jennifer is out and about, so she'll be back next week. So you're stuck with the two of us. Sorry. Way it goes.
Sorry.
Some announcements. Sunday is Carol Cook, and Carol's new book, Improv Embroidery, is going to be the topic, one of the main topics. Interesting book, a project book that is really not a project book. It's a creativity book. And Carol is from Australia, Canberra. Who's here?
Genevera?
Who's here from New Zealand? Is it Canberra? Is that right? Anyway, so that'll be good. Good stuff there. Coming up now, we'll be, as soon as Jennifer's back in action here, we're going to do a couple of unboxing videos. So watch for those. And then we're setting up next week. We're going to, if it all works out, we're going to record a video with Jessica Grimm about that fleece. What is it?
The golden fleece?
Golden fleece? I think it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that impressive stuff she showed us on the 500th anniversary show or 500th show. She's got a ton of pictures, so we're going to record. It. We won't have a live audience, and talk to her about that. And so we'll have that coming up. And she's studied it extensively, so we'll get to learn about that. And if there's enough questions, I'm sure she'll be happy to join us. But she's in Europe, so it's hard to do an evening show with her live.
Right.
Unless she wants to be up in the middle of the night. No.
No.
We have the drawing. Okay, we had a drawing hangover here, and that was the fractal. That fractal drawing. The person that won it 2 weeks ago never did contact me. So I did a new drawing. I basically did that today. So she had a full 2 weeks to get back to me with an address. So Valerie Trujillo is the winner, and that'll go out tomorrow with the giveaway tonight, Valerie. And Valerie noted in her entry that she actually does full coverage, so that worked out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So Valerie, that'll be coming to you. Should be in the mail tomorrow, and then you'll have it, I would think, early next week at the latest. So, yay you, Valerie. Tonight we have 4 cross-stitch charts. 4 cross-stitch charts to give away. And for you, or you folks who are here every week, I'm sorry, but I got to go through this because there's always going to be 1 or 2 new people. The drawings we do during the drawings are just for people during the show. If you're here for the live show, you're eligible for the drawing. If you're listening later, I'm sorry, I just can't. We've got to have a cutoff somewhere. We can't let it string out for days on end. So it's just live show people. Sorry, you people in Europe that get to miss out every time. We should have a European drawing sometime. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all we can do. So what you do anytime during the show, it's right down there at the bottom, down there, right there. You send an email to Gary@WeTalkFiber.com. In the subject line tonight, you just put cross. Don't put anything else. Just put the word cross in the subject line. And then in the body of the email, you put your name and address. And please put your name and address. That fractal one hung around for 2 weeks because I didn't get the address, and I wrote back to the person and she didn't respond. And by rights, I should just move on if I don't have an address. Just please put that in so that I can send it to you. It gets out right away. So, and then you just send that email during the show. Please enter just once. And then we do the drawing right after the show, and then the winners, it gets sent to, and then next week I'll announce who the winners are. So do that now so you don't forget about it if you're interested in the drawing. So the 4 charts we have, and if you have charts that you know you'll never use and want to send them to me, happy to have them. for the giveaways. So there it is, right there is number one. This is from Tongue Twisters, the trilogy. Star Spangled Sal Sport. I'm not even going to read it all, but anyway, kind of a cute little thing. So that's one. These are all simple cross-stitch pieces. This is In the Garden, Needle Rose. This is one of those where you could do all kinds of things with this. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of little ornaments and motifs and things you could do with that chart. And you can see there's some there on the chart. But yeah, that's kind of a cool one. Just simple, basic stuff. So that's one of those that it's handy to have around. I need a little something to go in this spot. This is a good chart to have around. So that's a good one. This one from Bent Creek. I got to get whoever it is that does Bent Creek. I got to get them to do a show. Marsha Worley and Elizabeth Newland. I got to see if we can get them to do a show. Anyway, Long Winter, that's a cool one. This is the time of year to be stitching that because then you'll feel cooler.
Yes, especially since it's so nice and hot here.
Yes, yeah, we're riding the 95s these days. Yep.
Ooh.
So all next week too. So from Bent Creek, Long Winter, that one, that's a nice one. There's one that you could do some embellishing on and have some fun with. So that's a good one. So those three. And then Halloween one from the Cricket Collection, the Cross-Eyed Cricket Open House by Vicki Hastings. So if you're into the Halloween thing, haunted house, there's that one. Okay,
Nice.
so those are the four. Those four tonight. Send your email. Do it now so you don't forget. I'll remind you at the end of the show. But those four, send email, Gary@WeTalkFiber.com. Subject line, you just put the word cross. Don't put anything else. It goofs up everything. Well, you won't get in the drawing. It doesn't goof up a thing. It just, you won't get in the drawing because you go in the wrong box. And be sure and put your name and address in there, and then we'll get those out to you. So that's that. Check. Cross stitch. Valerie Trujillo wins. All the things coming up. Check. Look at that. Okay, so we have the mystery in Saint-Tropez. Up there at the top, up there, that's the hashtag that I created for us to post on Instagram in particular, your progress on the Saint-Tropez mystery that we talked about in both shows last Wednesday with Gay Ann Rogers. We'll have her back. We'll be doing other things with this to keep the churn going. But that's the hashtag to use, Saint-Tropez mystery, and it did not show up as being used by somebody else, so we should have that to ourselves. And so please post your pictures, your progress reports using that hashtag, and then that will.
Yeah, and I want to see your color choices. So if you when you get your colors from Kathy Ray at Needle in a Haystack, and especially if you add something to it or you're doing a different color canvas, I want to see that. So hashtag us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, don't wait till you've stitched half of it. Start from the beginning. Yeah, here's what I'm doing. Here's the canvas I'm doing. Yeah, share those things. You bet. Yeah, we want to see.
To see it.
Yeah,
I want to see.
Now I communicated with Kathy in the recent past. I do not remember the day, Monday or Tuesday. I communicated with Kathy about the Congress cloth combinations that she talked about last week that we showed pictures of. And they're not on her website. As we said in the Wednesday show, she's got a business to run. But she said by the end of the week, she's also trying to coordinate with Rainbow Gallery to make sure that she can provide the threads before she puts them up in a picture. So she said by the end of the week, the Congress cloth ones will be up. So check back on that. Your best way is to go to gayannrogers.com. Start there, and then you can buy the chart, and Gayann has it on her homepage on the right side. Why am I showing this? As if this will help people. Is this helpful?
At least we're not doing a podcast, you know.
Is this helpful? This is not helpful. It's on the right. It's on the right-hand side. She has it all up there. It has our logo, the Fiber Talk logo, and everything. So links there, and then she has a link to take you to Kathy. This is the chart. When you get it, it's like
Oh my.
80 or 90 pages.
Okay, does that include the ornament?
It includes everything. Ornament, yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. This is if you get the ornament, if you get all the ornament and everything, the whole shooting match. That's what that is. So it's yeah, it's a big chunk of paper. This is one where I think a 3-ring binder would be a smart move. Yeah,
Yes. And
because
page protectors. I don't like to punch all those holes because then I don't know, I hate all those little
yeah,
circles in my
yeah,
house. But put them in a page protector. And then you could just take that page out and it's not going to get ruined,
right.
crumpled up.
Yeah, that. Yeah, because and if I do the 3-hole punch and don't put it in a protector, then you invariably rip one or two. Yeah, it gets annoying. So
Yes, Teal, you may ask questions. Ask questions. We want to know. You've never done needlepoint. Ask us questions.
yeah, oh yeah, you bet. Why not? Yes. Please fire them off. So you go to gayanrogers.com, and that's where you order your chart, and then that will direct you to Kathy Ray, and Kathy's then got the page with all the pictures of the different combinations she's put together, and then the ones for the Congress cloth, linen Congress cloth. I'm doing that because I want to stitch on that.
I might have to get a piece of that just to maybe just ornament size. Just think of it on
I
the
knew,
ornament
I
size.
knew you wouldn't resist.
Oh,
I
oh,
knew
I
you
can't
couldn't
resist. I
resist.
can't resist. Oh yeah. And that
I knew it.
linen is just it's just oh
I could
yeah, gotta
smell it.
try
I
it.
could smell it. You couldn't resist it. That's okay.
Hey, but I had a big idea. I had a big idea. I was thinking, orange is the least popular colorway. We were talking about it. If I did it with a brown um, background, canvas, I knew I'd come up with a word, and then maybe put a little peach in with the orange, because if it's really bright orange, but found like because find the DMC light shade
Hmm.
of orange would actually turn to kind of a peach.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that would work and make it less Halloweeny or
Yeah.
make it more fall-like.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about that. Yeah. A fall thing is cool. The Halloweeny. Yeah. Once you go orange and black, it gets too, ghosts
Yeah,
and goblins.
yeah.
I just get disinterested. What's Sandy saying? Does it come in
Okay,
soft or hard? When Gayan mailed mine, it was in a cardboard envelope, like UPS priority or something. So it's at least, yeah, it's going to be hard for them to bend it. So you should be
yeah.
okay there.
Okay, and Anne Marie, you know what we'll have to do is if you guys have questions, even if you're like, okay, how do we start? We could do, this is how you start, this is where you start, follow the chart. We can help you with that. We could
Yeah,
do
yeah.
shows.
Well, okay. Well, we'll take that as a directive, and we'll make sure that we do at least one show, starting right from scratch, set up and everything, and get people off on the
Mhm.
right foot. Because you people who are trying needle counted canvas for the first time, we really want you to do this because we know you'll enjoy it. And I mean, this is an excellent opportunity to do that. So all right, we'll take that as a directive. As soon as we get our material, we'll do a video show and help you get off the ground. And
Yeah,
actually, we'll figure it out so it can be live, so you can join us in and ask questions, and we'll work something out. So,
yeah, yeah.
thank you for asking that because
Right.
we will do that. Yes, we are here to help. Um,
Besides just enable.
yeah, yeah. We're full service. We enable
Yeah,
and help. Yeah.
yeah,
We'll,
we
we'll
do.
we'll enable you to spend your money, and then we'll help you enjoy spending your money. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So that way, you'll have a finished product and
Right.
you'll just love it. You'll be
Right.
in love.
Yep. And
Ooh,
when
a dark
Josie,
green too. Yeah.
what's that?
Kathy said, how about a very dark
Oh,
green?
oh.
Yeah, that might work too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really, there's that, the dark green that canvas comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that would be nice. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There we go. See, that's the thing. That's what I love about this. There's so many ways to go on this, depending on what interests you. You can really have some fun, or you can just simply grab the threads, grab the chart, stitch it. Yep.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you've never done it, you'll enjoy it. Oh yeah, good point, Kathy Yance. You got to add it's there. Kathy tried to make it plain, but you do have to order that canvas separate because she can't determine what canvas you might want. So what she put together and shows, you may not want that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, good point.
Okay,
But
you looked. Sandy says she looked for a dark green canvas. I think there is one though. You know what? I'm kind of crazy. If I really want dark green, I can paint
I'm pretty sure there's a
it.
dark green. If you don't see it,
Yeah,
email Kathy.
yeah,
Her address is all over that website. Email her. You'd be amazed how many things that Kathy has that don't show that are not on her site.
right.
She's the all-time treasure trove. So
And if she doesn't have it, she might be able to point you somewhere to get it, or she would be able to source it for it. Yeah, you
right,
just don't know. Always ask.
right.
No, and Teal, your questions are not coming through. Yeah, and Eugene Josie is right. You need to order a pair of stretcher bars, not just one. So if you just
Yes,
order one set, you'll just get
you'll
top
get
and bottom. And you'll need the other two.
yeah you'll get useless is what you'll get.
Yeah. You'll need to order more, and then you'll be mad because shipping will kill you. So it's like,
Yep.
ah,
And if Kathy has them, what's the ones with the screws on them? What are they called? Stretcher bars.
Evertights,
Evertights.
Evertights.
If Kathy has Evertights, get Evertights. You'll be glad you did. They're more expensive, but you use them forever. But you'll be glad you did. Trust me.
All right. And Vicky's comment: I couldn't decide on
Way
which
to go,
colorway, so I ordered
Vicky.
three. Yes.
And then she hauled out the gifts excuse. Two will be yeah
Yeah,
okay
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good, Vicky. You convince
I,
yourself you'll be okay.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Now Jennifer and Beth and I are stitching one of the things that Kathy's put together. Cindy is doing it, and Cindy's going to do it from stash. So that'll be a nice contrast to see what Cindy does from stash. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then Cindy's mother's doing it too. So we may have to have the Cindy mother on one week. That would be fun.
Yeah. That would
Yeah.
be good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
all of that. Let's see what else.
Yeah. Thank you for my comment on the lizard canvas. Yeah. I'm getting there.
Oh yeah, that's looking cool.
Yeah. I got to keep working on it. But
So
that's nice.
that's the big check off on the magic sheet of things to talk about right there. Well, actually, no. We had some other topics that we put together to talk about. So let's see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Penny, I thought you were going to stitch from stash. But Penny's breaking down and going to get the linen Congress cloth.
Oh.
Oh, oh, you are?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
stitching for stash or, okay, make up your mind. Are you going to
She's
order
gonna.
the linen or?
I gotta try that linen Congress cloth.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
just gotta try it. So Penny's
And
gonna
I
do
keep,
that from stash. Okay. This
mm-hmm.
is why sharing with something like this. This is why sharing, even from the beginning, what colors you pick, is so much fun because there's so many options. Cindy, I'll see if yeah, that would be cool. Cindy and Mom
Yeah.
one night. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yes, that'd be
Yeah,
great. That'd be great.
be
All
all
right,
for
so
that.
Teal's got her questions. What is best to use for beginner? What do you mean best to use? Oh, Congress cloth or canvas? I would say canvas.
Yeah,
Bigger
canvas.
holes.
Yep, yep.
And the Congress cloth has a memory. In fact, I'm looking at my Congress cloth that I have a Purple Mountain Majesty on right here, and I keep my magnet on it right there. Wrong way,
Here,
wrong way.
all Beth all the time, right there.
Okay, so on this side I can see an indent from the magnet. Now it's not in my design, so I'm not too worried about it. But like, let's say this was going to be an open stitch. If you punch a hole in there, it you'll be able to see that hole won't ever go away. Canvas is a little bit more forgiving than that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd suggest canvas if you're a
Yeah,
beginner.
especially if you've never done this, you're going to be happier with canvas. The holes are easy to
Right.
see. Yeah, all the pluses that you will not have with
Right.
converse cloth.
It's not that this is too small to see. It's 24 count, right?
Yeah, 24.
Yeah. But 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 canvas is easier, much
Yep.
easier.
It'll take much more of a beating too. So if you have to pull stuff out, not only the memory,
Mm-hmm.
but it'll just take a heck of a beating. You can pull stuff out several
Right.
times and not damage the ground
Right.
cloth.
Right.
Yeah.
And or your threads.
Right.
On this, you take anything out, it shreds it.
Yeah.
So, and then you asked, do I use a frame for both? Yes, I would recommend a frame. You want to use one of these, a stretcher bar of some sort.
Yep.
This is the adjust a frame that you can no longer get, which makes us sad. And then this is Evertight's.
Yeah.
Evertight.
Show what we mean on the Evertight there.
See it? Can you see that?
Yeah. Move it to your left. Yeah.
Left.
See, there's little holes there. There's screws in there that you can use to separate the wooden pieces and stretch the canvas tighter. And you put
Right.
it on tight initially, but then as you work with it, obviously it
Right.
gets a little loose, and so then you can crank on it and get it tight again. You know. And show.
And I didn't bring my little tool.
It's just an Allen key, right?
Right.
Yeah. Show your
Show.
tacks,
I'm
because
sorry.
that's another thing people need is tacks.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, you
And
want
I
to
have
get
the big ones.
yeah. You want to get tacks,
Wrong way.
and you want to put a lot of them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like Beth has, you want to put a lot. You start in you get it on there square. We'll do this in a video. You get it on there square. You start in the middle, top and bottom, left and right, and work your way out, stretching
Right.
that canvas. But you want plenty of tacks. Don't put 4 or
Right.
5 on a side. That's not near enough.
No. And then the other thing to remember is I have blue tape on mine, painter's tape, but you want to put some sort of tape on the edge of your canvas. I don't like the masking tape. The blue tape isn't too bad. I have had I found a canvas that I'd had masking tape on, and the edge was totally nasty. The only good redeeming part about that is that you're going to cut that edge off generally, but you need to tape the edge somehow. Masking tape. What is the other ace
Artist
bandages?
tape.
People will use those.
Artist
Artist
tape.
tape.
Yep.
Yeah. If you can't find artist tape, though, an ace bandage will work too around that edge. Just
Yeah.
because you're like here, this is coming nasty. I need to take something.
Here, I just went to was it Blix or whatever art store, and just
Mm-hmm.
got a roll of artist tape, just cheap artist tape. This this will last forever. But and then because you need to do that, and you think, well, I need to put it on there so my canvas doesn't fray. Your canvas isn't going to fray. What you want it on there for is so you don't snag threads on the raw edges of the canvas, because there's
Right.
nothing worse than getting a stitch almost done and you snag a thread and you got to tear it out. Oh, is that
Yep.
mad? It's maddening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Medical tape. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that'll work too. It's something that'll just not masking tape. Masking tape
Ew.
just is nasty. It just does. And I've used it when I was in a pinch, but you got to be making sure you're going to get it done. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Sandy. No, Sandy. I wouldn't. Don't bother. Just put tape on.
just put tape on. Yeah.
It's not worth it. This is, and somebody's going to say how wide a tape, because it comes in 48 widths. This is basically 1 inch, just a hair short of 1 inch wide. And so you just put it on one side and fold it over the other side, and you're good to go.
All right. And then, all right, here's the other one. What cloth is best for a doodle cloth, whatever you're stitching and using? So if you've got 18 count canvas, you're going to use an 18 count doodle cloth.
Yep.
So
Just buy extra. You know, if you're buying a piece for this project, buy two. Just buy two pieces. It's not that expensive, and then have one for doodle cloth. And you really don't need. I don't think I mount it on stretcher bars, but you really don't need to mount the doodle cloth on stretcher bars. Just put tape on it so you don't snag the threads, because you're just doing quick and dirty stitching on that anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can just do that in hand.
Okay, and so here's, we got one more question. Let's see. Doodle cloth. What needle do I use? I'm thinking, are they 20? Are we gonna, you're gonna use about a 22? 20, 22?
22 or
Eight.
4. If you're on 18 count, 22 or 4. Well, I don't know. What are you using on that one?
I think these are 20s or 22s. I don't know. I don't pay attention. I feel them. I kind of look at the hole and say, okay, that hole looks big enough to put my thread through. Like this is too big for
Yeah.
what I'm using, but it's not too big for which way? Wrong way. This is silk lame,
Yeah.
and I'm sure this is either a 20 or 22. I can tell when I feel it.
Basically, you want to use a needle that will, when you put it through, will push the canvas threads open enough that your thread
Right.
goes through without dragging on the canvas.
Right, so I can kind of feel it giving a little bit of a tug, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
So I know it's okay.
And like if you talk to, is it Susan Greening Davis, she'll always have you go one size bigger than you think. But yeah, you're down in the 20, 22, 24 range. 24 is about as small as you want to go, because you don't want that thread dragging on that canvas.
Yeah, and I just because I'm using 18 count, I always just use a bigger size. I don't go down to smaller until I go to the Congress cloth.
Right.
And then someone else asked a question. Okay, so Barbara, it's not a stupid question. How does counted canvas is different than cross stitch? It's the stitches. So cross stitch, generally you're making X's, or they're going as for a counted canvas, you get to do big stitches. It covers faster. So let's look at KM's.
You're hanging up here. So
Am I?
yeah, you're getting blurred. So what Beth just said was, with cross stitch, you're just generally making X's, 1/1 or 1/2 or 2/2 or whatever it is. But with counted canvas, a lot of stitches, you're covering more than 2 threads in many cases as you stitch, and you're doing different kinds of stitches. Here, let me see if I can fire up. Go ahead, Beth, whatever you were going to say.
So this is Gay Ann's Purple Mountain art that I'm working on. That's got it. I don't ever know where this camera is.
To your right.
You can't see it.
To your right. To your right. There you go, right there.
All right, so on top are these fairly large stitches. You can't really see them, but they're just big, like X's or something, and you cover over more than just over like 2 threads. And so it goes fairly quickly. And this has got a long stitch on the trees. So yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway, it goes a lot faster. It just does. It's why we like it.
And you know, the thing we say, you use different stitches, and that starts to freak people out. Oh no, I can't do specialty stitches. Don't worry about it. There's very few stitches in counted canvas work that are truly complicated, and even those, once you do them a couple times, are really not that big a deal. Here, I'm trying to get up here. Just a second.
So you have the picture of Saint Tropez.
Yeah. Ah.
There it is. Yeah. So you look at the square around the center, and that's just like a satin stitch, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Tell.
They have names. You know, they have names for these, but most of these things are just variations of a satin stitch, depending on the angle or whatever. But you can see
Right.
there's nothing, we're not doing anything complicated. And like
Mm-mm.
this part here that looks so fancy around here with these things over that, all you're doing is laying a bunch of threads next to each other along a straight line here and here and here, and then you're just laying some over the top. There's nothing to that. It looks
No,
really fancy, but it's not.
no. And where Gayanne is a genius in her designs is that it's not, the stitches themselves are not complicated. They're pretty basic. So you can see there is a bunch of, it looks like a bunch of long stitches, and you're just couching over them
Yep.
for that green, dark green part. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's not hard at all.
Yeah, there's nothing difficult about any of this stuff that
Mm-mm.
in this design. I mean, they look fancy because they're different threads and different colors, but there just is nothing complex. This whole thing here, that's just the variegation in the watercolors thread. But all that
Mm-hmm.
is a slant over 3 or 4 threads. That's it. There's nothing to it.
Right. Yeah. And Penny, you're right. People need to remember you're using a tapestry needle, just like what you use for cross stitch. You don't want anything pointy. You're not
Yeah,
splitting the thread.
right.
Oh, oh, okay. It's especially a needle, a laying tool. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a
Yeah,
minute.
I got some laying tools out because we actually have that on the list to talk about tonight. So we'll,
Yeah, and I have some. I can show mine. But yeah, the stitches themselves are not complicated. So um, it doesn't even look like she like put any eyelets or anything like that. And these are just, they're like fancy Smyrna crosses.
yeah, there's nothing.
It's
It just looks,
which,
it just looks cool. I think that's the fun part is it looks really impressive, but it's
mm-hmm.
not difficult.
And you get to use, yeah. How does this differ from needlepoint? Okay, so needlepoint, I don't know. People say that needlepoint's just mainly, it depends on who you talk to, that is basket weave.
See, I call it all needlepoint. I call this and your painted canvas, I call it all needlepoint, and then I just differentiate whether you're stitching on a painted canvas or you're doing counted
Right.
canvas work. Either way, but to me
Mm,
it's all needlepoint because it's different threads. It's on 18 point canvas. And now the British will give you a whole different thing about what's needlepoint. But that, to me, that's all it is. It's all needlepoint, and it's whether you're doing it on painted canvas or a blank canvas and counting stitches. Yeah.
right, right, right.
So
So,
yeah. Let's talk about the.
oh, look at your laying tools.
Look at me, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You'll get over it.
Fancy.
Okay, so here's some laying tools, okay? Now a laying tool, all you really have to have is something that is smooth so it doesn't snag the threads and comes to a reasonable point. A knitting needle, so like if you don't have any laying tools, don't go buy any. Just use a knitting needle if you have it. Anything like that will work. You don't have to go buy these fancy things.
Right.
The one that I use all of the time, these others are just whatevers, is the best laying tool or the Chacobari, however they say it.
Yeah, Takabura. Yeah,
That to me, that
Takabura.
is, but to me, this here, the best laying tool, BLT, this no matter what needlework you do, this is a tool I think you should own because you will find many more uses than just for laying threads. Because it's metal, it's square on the side so it doesn't roll around. It comes to a very sharp point. It's very good for picking threads out. I use this thing all the time, and not just for needlepoint. But they're usually about 20 bucks, something like that. But you buy one, lasts you forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and
And
that's what I use. That's the one I use all the time. It just
yeah,
sits in my by my little stitching area. In fact, I have two because one is in one of my travel bags,
right.
so I always have it with me.
Yeah, and Kathy makes a good point. A tapestry needle will work just fine as a laying tool. Like a size 20 tapestry needle, it'll work just fine.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you just need anything like that. Knitting needle, yeah, just really anything like
Yeah.
that will work. So that's that one. Then these are other ones that I have. And this one I had made. This thing is I had this made for a specific purpose. It's 3 inches long. And I had this made because when I was doing, when I'm stitching on like 6x6 stretcher bars, where I've got a really small piece, sometimes it's hard to get a longer laying tool in that frame. And so I had this 3-incher made, and so I use that for those small things. But I mean, that's just a pure luxury thing that I had done. This one is an African, it's a quill from an African porcupine. I think it's African. This one, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on, like 40 or 45 bucks, and I hate it. It's just a gimmick. Now, some people like it, and that's the other thing. Some people will like a long laying tool. Like this quill is 7 inches long. Some people like a long laying tool, and some people like them short. Like this one here is 5 inches long. And I've known some stitchers who they can't work with a shorter one. They got to have a long laying tool. And some like a short one. The best laying tool is about the right length for most people. That's just short of 4 inches. But you can get all kinds, and you know some people collect them, and that's really what this is. I used it a few times. It has the advantage that it's flexible a little bit, but I just hate it. It's too long. I don't like it, so it's just a gimmick. But so you know, I have these four, but 99% of the time, the best laying tool is the one I use.
Hmm.
You know, the rest are just whatever. This
Right.
thing, you might wonder what's on the end here, right there. That's a piece
Yeah.
of airline, aquarium airline. You can buy it for like 10 cents a foot or something like that at a pet store. And I bought a foot of it, and then I put that on the tips of the wooden ones in particular to protect them so they don't get snapped off, and especially if you're traveling. So then if I drop this in a jar, like I have a jar that holds scissors and other things, then I just have that in there. So you can just slip that on, and then when you're going to use it, yank it off and you're good to go. But that's what that is, just a piece of airline, cheap there. So
Yeah. Nice. Right. And yeah, so a hair tool, that's true, a long one that if you had those things that you used to poke at, a few women poke in their hair, that'll work. And someone was talking about the trolley needle. I I have a trolley needle, and sometimes I prefer that, but you got to be careful not to poke your eye out. But I wear
yep.
glasses, so that kind of keeps me safe because I have gone click, and I'm like, oh, that would have been my eye, and then glasses on.
Every
So
time
just be careful.
every time that comes up, I laugh because I think of that Christmas movie with the Red Ryder BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out. Yep. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Carrie mentioning the Mayor, or however you say that,
Right.
used a lot for gold work. That's what this is right here. That's a flat piece of metal, shaped, very smooth, comes to a
Right.
point. Yep, works for a laying tool. Yep.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of nice if you need to, like if you're doing when you're doing metal work to kind of adjust things. So that's kind of nice to have.
Yep.
And then someone asked, where do you get the laying tool? Kathy probably has them.
Kathy will have it, no problem. Yep.
Hmm.
But I would suggest that
Yep.
if you've never done counter canvas work or needlepoint of any kind, don't have a laying tool. borrow a knitting needle from a friend or whatever, and use that to make sure that you're going to like doing this before you start investing in tools, because
Right.
a knitting needle will do the job in spades for you, particularly with this project. And so you just don't go buying a bunch of stuff and then go, oh geez, I don't really care to do this. Yeah. And you certainly don't need 4 different laying tools. I mean, that's,
See, I could only
ridiculous.
find 4. I could only find 4. I know I got at least one more, but I can't remember where I placed the last one. So,
Yeah, you tend to acquire them over time, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Acquire them and
Yeah,
then just
so
use the one. Yeah.
right. Here's another one that you could use if you're a collector of antiques. Sometimes people will collect those really pretty awls,
Oh, yeah.
and those are nice because it's got a nice heft to it. Um, so just another thought. If you already have one,
Yep.
use that.
Yeah. So that's laying tool. Yeah. There's that. What were you going to talk about with watercolors
Oh,
while I'm on
we were
this
talking
camera?
about. We're going to talk about dividing up the watercolors.
Okay.
Why when you cut them and when you don't.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is watercolors here. I guess we don't need the ruler for that, do we?
I don't think so. Oh, those are pretty colors.
Thank you. Picked them out myself.
Ooh.
Yep.
Hmm. What's the bottom one?
The bottom one, this one here, black
Iris?
black iris. That's black iris. This is ash. Right here is ash, and
Okay.
this is claret. I'm going to do something with claret
Okay.
one day.
Okay. Does that have some? It looks like it has a little bit of reds in it, like a
Yeah,
dark.
yeah, a little bit.
I have to
Yep,
see.
yep. And these are fairly coarse threads. Here, I don't want to take these off the skein, but
They're.
it's 3. Is
It's
it
like this.
3? Yeah, 3.
Yeah. 3 plies, and it's. I think it's a. What's the size? Is it the size of a number 5 pearl?
Yeah, roughly, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime today, I will have these 3 separated here so you can see. But meanwhile, somebody play the Jeopardy theme. Well, listen to you, Beth. What a voice.
See?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Thanks.
3 strands. So yeah, when people talk about watercolors, a lot of designers will base a design on a watercolor and use that, and then pull off the DMC solid colors from that, because then you're coordinated all the way. And then I pulled out a Wild Flowers, which is a thinner cotton. That's this. And then the next level is a silk. But this is Wild Flowers. This is burnt toast.
Oh, pretty color.
Yeah.
See,
But
that
you'll
would
see
be
a lot of
pretty on.
designers. A lot of designers start with a watercolor as a base and then build off of that.
So, because Saint Tropez is a like has quadrants in it, you can cut your you could do your thread so that all 4 quadrants look similar.
Yeah.
Because watercolors has a repeat. Well, so does the wildflowers and the water lilies.
Now I'm not
Is
familiar
that the
with Nora's things, but I assume so. Yeah.
yeah? So you can get so there because you remember you've got 4 quadrants, and although you have 3 strands of thread, you've got to make sure you've got that one extra strand for the 4th repeat. So you can kind of plan it out if you like, so that they all look similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can play with that. The watercolors is fairly consistent. What do you mean? So the dye lots do change. So over time.
Yeah, I would buy plenty for any project. I would buy plenty. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Because it does change over time.
But then back to the reason we had this on the table. For these kinds of project, counted canvas work, unlike cross stitch, do not sit down and cut a bunch of 18-inch lengths.
No.
Don't do that because you'll soon discover that you're going to wish you hadn't. So like for instance, if I go if we go here, so if you're gonna stitch this piece right here, this right here, I would try to have a length of thread so that I can do all of that at once. And if you can't, then the second length of thread you're going to want to start somewhere in the gradation so it matches up. So if you end up stopping here in the dark, then your next thread you're going to want to cut so that that you're starting with the dark end.
Mm-hmm.
But see,
Right.
I would cut a length, and that's you usually the first time, at least for me, I'll cut what I think will be long enough, and it'll either be long enough or not long enough, and sometimes you have to rip it out and cut a longer piece. But then if to get all the way. But then if you do that, make sure you write down how long it is so that you can do the same on the other four or other three. But yeah, and here's an instance of the real power for me of variegated threads in counted canvas work, is you can manipulate the threads. So you just use, like here, you see how they have dark on the ends and light on this end? So you manipulate the thread. You just use the section of the thread that will give you that look. So you have dark on the ends and light on these ends. And you can match that up. And you'll waste a little thread, but you can create symmetry just in the colors just by doing that.
Right. And hers is so well done. Her threads are so well placed.
Yeah,
Very nicely balanced.
yeah.
I
But yeah,
think.
you
She did
can
a good
see
job.
she made this angle here the dark in each one. See, and so you start to play those games. You
Mhm.
can have a lot of fun just manipulating the thread to and controlling the colors and creating different looks.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fun. And also the thing is, if one of the watercolors you like it, but you don't like a section, there's no saying you have to use that section. You got to remember that there should be plenty for this piece. One of those watercolors should be more than enough, even with
Yeah,
ripping. So, but obviously this one has a lot of yellow in it that she used. So you wouldn't want to maybe rip out the yellow, but you could take out a color if you didn't like it, and sometimes, use it to stop and start or whatever. You can really play with it.
yeah. To me, this is where variegated threads get to be a lot of fun, is in counted canvas work, because you can really start to take advantage of what they have to offer, and control where the colors go and how they look.
Right.
Inherited, yes, I did, and I meant to show that tonight, and I forgot. So I'm sorry. Yeah, she did a really cool Father's Day little thing, and I was going to show it and forgot. We had grandsons this afternoon, so I was distracted.
Occupied.
Whew. It's 95 degrees out. Connor, the younger one, always wants to throw, hit, or kick some kind of ball. And so at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, on the west side of the house, where the sun is just beating down, not a cloud in the sky, Can we go hit the baseball? Connor, it's really hot out. I don't mind if it's hot. Okay.
But Grandpa might.
Yeah. Now, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. So off we went and stood out in the sun and baked and hit the baseball. So that's all right.
Nice, nice.
That's all right.
Nice.
Is there a way to guesstimate how much is needed for an area so you cut it big enough? I make a good eyeball guess, stitch it, and learn by trial and error. But then once I figure out what's going to fit, like for instance, if I'm stitching this zigzag here, and I cut it, and I'm 6 inches too long, I measure. I measure before I stitch, and then I write down on the chart how long that is, and then I know the next for the other sides how long to cut it. And you always cut a little extra. Thanks, Vicki. Water lilies. Yes, that's the silk version. Thank you. Of the Karen collection. Yeah, these are when people talk about the Karen collection. Whoops. These are all Karen collection: watercolor, water, wildflowers, and water lilies. Yeah.
They're such nice threads.
And I think you can get black iris in watercolors and wildflowers, can't you? I think you can get.
I don't know.
At least some. Where you can get the same kind of dye. Of course, they're not going to match up exactly, but
Yeah.
especially if you go to the silk, because it's not going to hold the dye the same. So, yeah. So anyway, that's the basis for this design and that's where the Saint-Tropez comes from. That's one of the watercolors. That's what Gayanne used was. This is the Saint-Tropez, where is it? The Saint-Tropez in these variegated here of the thing.
Right.
So that's where the name of it comes from. Yeah.
Right. And it's fun to play with those threads. I think that's what makes the other things that makes counted canvas work fun is that you get to play with all those neat threads that are available anymore. That you really, it's hard to do them on cross stitch unless you use a really like 16 count or I don't know something
Right.
big holes.
Well, but that's another thing. If you decide that you have a design, cross stitch or otherwise, that you would like to do your own colors on, go look in the watercolor section and find one of these that you like. That has the thing, and then match up the DMCs with the different colors, and you'll have something that will work. If you're a color hack like me. You'll have a set of threads that will work all together, and then you can use this or not use it, but you can use it as a basis to choose some colors that'll go together, because these, I mean, these just always look nice. I mean, that's, and these, these, I just bought these just because I liked them. I mean, I like that, and someday I'll use that. And this one, this claret, that's going to get used someday. I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice one. That's nice.
But if you want to play with colors, it's a good way to get yourself off to a kind of a cheater's start. Just use what somebody else put together with any of these variegated threads. I mean, you could just use this one too. That works. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then pull your DMC colors. Like if you have a DMC chart, just lay out a length of thread and go through the DMC chart and find the matchups, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What else were we going to talk about?
This book.
Oh yeah.
Laying
Oh yeah.
beside me.
Oh, we got to see about this book.
That Mary Corbett.
Yeah, all Beth all the time.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, when I saw her name, I understood why you didn't really know how to pronounce her name, because I have no idea what that is. Juan Padre? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And then, and it is in, let's see, it's in 3 languages. So introduction, English, French, and Italian. Here, this isn't sharing anything. So
Wow.
there's one, um, and then here's
Look
look
at
at
that.
that.
Wow.
I know.
Beautiful.
And then here's the third language with the picture. Those are just the images on the beginning for the introduction. Okay, so and
Nice.
then oh, look at this one. This is one that just bores me.
Wow.
Away.
Wow.
But I know. But she talks you through, what she used, what you're supposed to use, how to prepare it. So, like what Mary Corbett was doing on her practice reticella. So if you look that up, she has the,
Mm-hmm.
how to set up, to do a practice piece. And then um, what I thought was interesting is she has all these different, so it's flower in a buttonhole. Let's see, and then there's flower too. So it's different kind of flowers. But what we were having problems with the white work was putting the little picots in. And she kind of gives a really, I like her illustrations. Look at that.
Oh, uh-huh.
Just really kind of walks you through step by step. The author of this book is Juliana Bonpadre. Do you want me to spell it? Maybe better type it. But you can get them at Mary Corbett's website. You can't, Amazon doesn't carry them. You have
Just
to get them from Mary Corbett.
hold
She
the
has
cover
one
up
that
to the
she has
hold the
two
cover
other
up there.
ones.
Hold the cover up to the camera and
Oh,
then she can.
yeah.
So there's 2 more before
That's the
this.
author.
So this is number 3.
Correct. But she doesn't carry the other two. She just carried this one.
Oh.
And there's probably a reason for that. And then she has 2 other ones that are more advanced, that are like 7 and 9, books 7 and 9, that have color. So you're doing this in the color version.
Wow.
So like adding leaves. One of them I think is like a botanical adding flowers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
But I
there's at
stuck with
least
one.
9 books from her?
I guess so.
Wow.
I know.
Prolific.
Yes. And they it looks like it's full of good information on how to do these stitches. Oh, this one's a zigzaggy thing.
And you got
Isn't
this
it?
to get a different way to do that whitework sampler thing you're working on.
Correct.
Someone
Just to
else to
get
tell
a
you
little,
their way.
right. Just because I was having a little bit of difficulty with it, and I'm thinking I just need a little bit more help. It just makes me want to go stitch on my whitework.
Stuff's beautiful, so delicate.
It is. And I think I realized why I like it is although it's very delicate, it has a texture. You've
Yeah.
got the little knots. You're making a really a detached buttonhole is what you're doing. A bunch of buttonholes.
What does she
So
say she's using for ground cloth? Just kind of a basic muslin
um,
or a high grade linen?
my dress is a high grade linen. Cloth with 15 threads is what it is. 15, 13 per centimeter. So 38, 32, or 28 count linen is what she's using.
Oh.
Um, embroidery cotton number 25 for the whip stitching on 3 threads. Cotton number 30. So I'm wondering if she's talking about like cotton to border.
Must be.
And but she says you can use pearl cotton too.
Okay,
So
so that's
yeah,
a coarser stitching than it appears, because it appears to be
yes,
really fine silk, delicate, blah blah blah.
right. But it's 38 would be the smallest count she's suggesting,
Yeah,
which is basically our 40 count. We could you could use 40 count,
right. Yeah,
but it's just beautiful, beautiful.
sure
So
is.
what you can accomplish. Yeah,
Yep,
it's beautiful stuff.
it's a cool
Yeah.
book. So Mary Corbett has that
Hmm.
one, but not the others, or well, people can go look.
She has. You go look. Mary Corbett has several, and she's sold out at least once. At least once, because she's Mary Corbett.
In the dictionary where it says sold out, picture of Mary. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
buy quickly or wait. Yeah,
Right, right, right. And I think the nice thing about this is what she's trying to carry are books that you can't get off from Amazon, that you can't get
yeah,
at your local needlework store,
yeah,
or that are harder to source.
yeah. No, she has a nice offering anymore. She really has built that
Hmm.
up. It's very nice. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Definitely.
Ruskin lace. Don't know that one.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Fun, fun. I need another project too, Sandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We
Always,
all do.
always,
Yep.
all the time, all the time.
That was our list of fun things to talk about. There we go.
Hmm. Yeah.
Send your uh, send in your emails for the drawing if you want to be in on the 4 charts. If you want to do that, send in your emails.
Yeah.
I guess I could show each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So send those in. Um,
You got big plans for the 4th of July?
there's going to be some stitching and some napping, and I bought a new bike.
Ooh,
So there's going to be some riding. Yeah, it's a bike designed for riding on dirt roads and other things. And so there's going to be some of that. Because I'm getting
fun.
ready. My sister and I are going to ride at the end of the month, end of July. We're going to ride from here, which is almost to the eastern edge of the state, all the way to Kansas City on the Katy Trail, it's called. It's an old railroad line. And that's 211 or so miles. And then we're going to take the train partway back just because we have time limitations and then ride the rest of the way home. So we're trying to get I think we can get 400 miles out of it, but probably not 350 or so. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So I can do the miles. I just got to get used to doing it every day, 50 miles a day, day after day after day. So this weekend starts the adapt the body. The distance, it's not the distance, it's the got to do it again tomorrow. Yeah. But it's not like you get on the bike and ride till you drop. You know, we stop at towns and go in stores, have an ice cream, because when you're doing that kind of stuff, you can have ice cream all you want. And
Yeah, they're burning the calories.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah. So we're getting ready to do that. Have I ever done ragbri? No, I have not, and no, I would not. Way too many people, way too much drinking. No. I'd like to do the
Yeah.
route. I would love to do the
Hmm.
route, but I will
Hmm.
not do it under those conditions. No. It's just way too many people, and no, no. But I would love to do the route because I understand it's really a good trip. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and they change it every year.
Yeah.
Every now and then it ends here or in the Quad Cities.
Oh,
They
does
dip
it?
their, yeah.
Oh.
The only thing is it generally is the same weekend as the Bix, which is the big road race here, which we
Oh.
get 10,000 of your best friends running uh, up a hill. Yeah,
No.
that's a that, it yeah, it's a packed race. So
Yeah.
when both are happening, it is, and sometimes they have the big Spiderbeck Festival too, or they used to, which is a music festival,
Oh
and
my.
then it's really crowded in town,
Yeah. Jeez.
and then I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah. You just lock your doors and
Don't go
stay home.
in. Don't go anywhere. Don't go
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, that my sister and I talked about doing the ragbri, and she had it all planned out. We were going to rent a uh, like a camper trailer, one of those
Hmm.
small bus things, and have her husband drive and meet us each place. And then we both did more research, and it's like, no, we're just not going to deal with all those people. It's just too much. And from what it just too much drinking and partying all night. And no, uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's what we heard.
yeah. Riding
So
across Iowa, yeah. See, to me that's
that's
fun.
what
Like,
direct rye is.
yeah, like to ride. That's what we're basically riding across Missouri. Yeah, that kind of thing, but not with, like you said, 10,000 of your friends. No, no.
Hmm. Hmm.
Do I ride year round? Yeah, I do. Yeah. In the winter, I ride on a trainer in the basement using a Zwift it's basically an online game, and I use a smart trainer that when I'm going up a hill in the game, it tightens down the resistance so it feels like going up a hill. But yeah, I ride year round. Um, it's so I can eat all the Mexican food I want to eat, basically. You know,
Yeah.
otherwise I'd be 50 pounds lighter and in a lot better shape. But I like my burritos, so you know, pile
Oh, I
on
know.
some
Good. In
jalapenos
fact, I
and
just picked. Yeah, we just picked our first hatch green chili out of our garden.
yeah,
It's
mm,
delicious. It was delicious.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
Those are
Hmm.
tasty. Those are
Yep.
tasty. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
We've been watching it grow, and it was like, okay, this one's big enough. We're gonna pick it. So it's delicious. It's
Now,
like,
what do you
oh
just
yeah.
slice it up and eat it raw, or did you mix it in something?
I roasted it
Okay.
over my, and then threw it in with some chicken, made
Mm,
chicken tacos.
there you go. Yep,
Hmm.
yep.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's the
delicious.
way you do it. Those hot peppers, nothing beats them. Yep.
No, no.
No, our favorite Mexican restaurant, whatever I order, then I always order a side of pickled jalapenos, and so yeah, they bring it, and I just take the bowl of it and just dump it on,
Oh,
oh, it's the best. But yeah, I'll get looks, what is he
yeah,
doing?
yeah,
Hey, and
yeah,
those heat taste buds, they've been dead for a long time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just flavor. Yep,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
yep,
Yeah,
good stuff. But fresh,
yeah.
yeah, fresh peppers like that roasted. Oh man, Beth. Mm,
Oh, I know. Hmm.
yeah. Now, do
Hmm.
you can those or preserve them so you can use them throughout the winter? Or
Well, it depends. So if I can get enough jalapenos, I'll pickle them, pickle the
okay,
jalapenos, and
mm-hmm,
then I'll freeze the green chilies. They
okay,
last longer. And if I have a whole bunch of serranos, I'll freeze those,
okay,
and then we'll just pick up. I mean, then they're not as nice as when they're fresh, but then when you saute them and stuff, who cares, you know?
right, yeah, yeah. Yay.
Are we hungry? Okay, Inherited Stitcher said donuts, taquitos, and fajitas, and chimichangas. I mean, I think it's time for dinner or something. I don't
I think
know. Did
so.
we
Yeah,
eat our?
yeah. Well,
Mmm.
we had the Mexican last night. Yep.
Oh, we're gonna make everybody crave. Oh, you know what I found in my freezer?
But
Tamales.
oh yeah, from last year that
And
you
we
made. Oh
well,
man.
we made them in December, so I think it's time to eat those. I
Oh, I
think
think
I'm just gonna have
so.
to take them on. I think I'm just gonna have to eat them.
Yeah, yeah. No
So
options.
sad.
No
Hmm.
choice. Yep.
No, no,
Man,
it's
love
rough.
that stuff. Love that stuff. Yep. Every night I could eat
I'm
it.
gonna have to. I'd have to go for an extra long run tomorrow
Yeah.
if I do that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I did learn that. My sister and I did an overnight trip once, and we stayed at one of her friend's house. And there's a good Mexican restaurant nearby. And so we went out to dinner at the Mexican restaurant, knowing we were going to ride a good 50 miles or more the next day. Don't do that. It's not smart. No. Knock down a bunch of chips and salsa and then a big burrito. And the next morning when we got up to ride, it was like, Nancy, oh, man. Yeah, it took about 20 miles before I could get back to somewhat normal. Yeah, don't do that. So yeah, so now when we ride, she always asks when we get done at the end of the day if I want Mexican.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just to harass you because she's your sister.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the way she is.
That's what happened.
Yep. Ooh, Proverbs 31 yarn. First time here. Good to have you with us. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, see, Josie, that's it. No thanks. Not going to do it. Proverbs 31 yarn. That suggests there's some knitting going on there, too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's going to be it. How about that?
All right.
I think so.
We covered everything on our list, even.
We did.
That's amazing.
Okay, so gayanrogers.com to get the Saint-Tropez thing. Don't be afraid. We'll help you. We'll cover you. If you want to be in on the drawing for the 4 cross-stitch things, that's right down here. Send an email, Gary@wetalkfiber.com. Subject line, put the word cross, nothing else. Name and address in the body of the email. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to go draw the winners, and we'll send those out. And I think that's it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye.